I feel like if Alex really wants to put a nail in the coffin, on Typhon's coffin, because they were, so powerful and invincible, I feel like she should have been talking to the press just to really, really hammer him
Feels
down.
like I've been through so much with Eleanor. It meant the world that she believed me.
Yeah.
Couldn't bring himself to get rid of it.
I'm assuming that those council members would believe me if I helped them, with their issues. That would
I'm
make
glad
sense.
he held on to it. For whatever it's worth.
It's a note from Jed. Alex, they told me to destroy this jacket after the accident. I couldn't do it. Perhaps some part of me knew that I would one day need to pass it along. When Gabe first stepped into my bar looking for his father, I swore I would one day return this jacket to him. Then swore I would return it to both of you. I think you know by now what my word is worth. I did not deserve your forgiveness, but it moved me more than I knew was possible. I hope this gift will provide some small comfort to you in the days ahead, Jed. In order for me to heal myself, in order for me to be able to get through my issues and my turmoil, I had to forgive Jed. I had to. That was the only way I could move forward. So, it was selfless, but it was also selfish at the same time. Selfless and selfish. And that's okay.
I'll never understand exactly what happened to me down there, but I'll always be grateful.
Don't give up. Thank you. Thank you, Gabe.
Good thing I sold off all my Typhon stock.
Typhon CEO resigns amid stock plummet. Sources say FBI investigation imminent, just hours after a defiant press conference in which he vowed to see his company through the choppy waters ahead. Dennis Walker has resigned as CEO and chairman of Typhon Incorporated. Meanwhile, shares of the global mining concern, once top 5 in its sector, have nearly halved from $48.27 to $28.22 with no bottom in sight. It all stems from a series of shocking allegations and confessions tied to operations on Western Colorado, where Regional Operations Coordinator Diane Jacobs and former mining team leader Jed Lucan were arrested for. Oh, Diane was arrested too?
I'm
I didn't know
pretty sure my voice was already heard by everyone who needed to hear it.
Alyssa R. at denvertimes.com. Denver Time request for comment. Alex, I trust you have received my other messages and voicemails. I'm asking for 10 minutes of your time. We go to print at 8. Please let me help your voice be heard. Alyssa. Yeah, I feel like Alex should have let her voice be heard. I feel like she should continue.
Weird that the part of this that bothers me the most is nondescript dive bar?
But again, I get it. But if it was me, oh yeah, I'd be wanting to spread the awareness, spread the truth. Do not let corporations like this think they can get away with it. Spread the truth. Spread the awareness. Colorado mining scandal has deep state fingerprints. Irregularities abound. Truth remains buried. What are they hiding? Deep state deniers and wool-eyed cynics, good luck trying to make sense of what went down in the small town of Haven Springs last week. Behind closed doors of a nondescript dive bar, 8 town council members gathered to discuss a municipal mining permit, and when the doors opened, one of them was admitting to murder, another to criminal fraud, and yet no one else could explain in any rational way, anyway, how this all supposedly happened. Local taxidermist Reginald McAllister, known to others in town as Ducky, I didn't realize he was a taxidermist, described the near hypnosis in the room as a great man was made to stand naked before all, and exhumated truth begot its rightful place atop the throne. To longtime readers, the implications could not be clear. This town council must belong to or be a servant of the global, paragovernmental, military-industrial nexus that dictates international... Okay.
I know now that my inaction, in the face of injustice, was itself a terrible wrong. And I know that I will never be able to undo the tremendous pain and loss I caused. I do not ask for forgiveness. The only person who could give that to me is gone. Thank you.
There are no victories at the end of this. Just more painful truths.
That's true.
I felt very close to Ducky after our dance. I guess he felt the same way.
Yeah.
Even though it was hard, I'm glad I let Charlotte overcome her own anger.
Me too.
I think it gave her the strength to support me.
Absolutely.
They say I was powered by adrenaline that whole morning. Now I'm mostly powered by extra strength Advil. And these.
Yeah.
Maybe Dad deserved everything he got, but I'm still glad we were there with him in his last moments.
He tried. He tried really hard. He ran away like a coward, but
The LARP was 2 days ago. That doesn't seem possible.
I mean, I'll give him credit where credit is due. He did try.
I want to go outside without seeing anyone. That's why God created rooftops. Maybe I do deserve some $ justice, but I'd much rather be able to move on with my life.
Mankiewicz, and Garf. Alex, call me. You deserve justice. David Mankiewicz, Esquire, ESQ, Colorado's #1 plaintiff's attorney. 1720-555-0108. Okay. I think we're done with this. Oh wait, there's a good. Glad I checked.
You ever swing a pick before, Mr.
Chen, John, and no. But I'm a hard worker, and I learn fast, and I don't mind long hours.
You don't have somebody waiting on you at home?
No, sir.
Well, John, guess you're a hell diver now.
Most of my life, I've known what other people were feeling, but couldn't escape it. Sometimes it felt like I was drowning, flailing to keep my head above water and sinking away. In all that time, the only person whose feelings I really wanted to understand was you, Dad. And then I found you at the bottom of the world. And I finally felt that what you were feeling. And what's messed up is your emotions were just so normal. Human, I guess. Fear, regret, same stuff as everyone else. Same stuff I've been drowning in since I was a kid. Shouldn't take an empath to know that, but I think I needed to feel it before I could let you go. And now the only person whose feelings I still need to understand is me. Bomber jacket. I wonder who he would have been if things had been different. June or John. Husband or widower. Dad or whatever he decided to be instead. What if Mom hadn't died? What if they'd never come to the States? What if Gabe and I hadn't come along? Would things be different? Or was there something about him? Something impossibly, bottomlessly sad that was always going to lead him here or someplace like here? He didn't have somebody waiting for him at home. He was right. We had already been plucked up and sent away, isolated from him, each other, ourselves. He thought a lot about coming back someday, whether he was strong enough, whether he'd be doing more harm than good. I don't know. I know it would have been nice to look at him in the eyes as an adult and get to decide how I feel about him. It's hard to forgive a ghost. Yeah. Mom's keys. I think I was too young to really understand what she was telling us. I knew that sick people went to the hospital, and I didn't want my mom to be sick. That was the extent of it. She knew she was dying, even as she told us that everything was okay. She was thinking about how many seconds she had left with us. She needed us to believe things would be okay. She wanted to give that to us. A month, maybe 2, maybe 6 or 7, where we could just love our mom without ever wondering when she'd be gone. She did it for us, but I wish she hadn't. Maybe if I'd known, I would have soaked more of her up, kept more of my memories of her safe. It was Pressed Rose, Chapter 4, Charlotte. It was their first spring fest together. Charlotte kept wondering when she'd stop being excited by him, but every time she saw him, her heart still felt like it was filling up with helium. That's a really great imagery. They didn't say anything mega serious to each other that night, no promises of forever or professions that they'd never known true happiness until they met, or any of the other stuff people say to each other in black and white movies, while the strings on the soundtrack and the Vaseline on the lens sparkled. Vaseline on the lens? I'm going to have to look that up. They just did what they always did. flirted, joked around, picked on each other, but still, this was the right Charlotte. This was the night Charlotte knew she wanted to be with him for the rest of her life. I want so badly to give that back to her. Other people in town. I can locate analogs for their pain in mine. I know to help because I know what it feels like. I know how to help because I know what it feels like. But Charlotte's hurt is unique. Every time I try to compare it to mine, it's like trying to open a lock with the wrong key. I like that.
Traditionally, you give roses to your crush at the spring festival, so...
I've never had a girl give me...
I already heard that. Jed. Bomber jacket. Nobody could remember which of them came up with Helldivers. It was like as soon as Jed pulled together his team, the name just materialized around them. The only thing they could ever have been. Soon it was more than a team. It was a legend they told themselves, even as they lived it, a way to turn their aching spines and blistered fingers into a story where they were the bad A heroes. Dig so deep we've seen where the devil sleeps. Of course they didn't know Jed was going to save them. Not then. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe you have to tell yourself a story about your own capacity to be a hero, if you're ever actually going to be one. Well, that didn't get updated. Steph. Button. They met in Seattle. A couple of queer... Oh, we already did this. Umbrella, Polaroid. I don't think I did this one. Oh, Ryan, been there, bud. Jed was the only thing he could make out through the fog. The only discernible familiar landmark in a stormy sea of Jaeger bombs, Jello shots, and ridiculously alcoholic Colorado microbrews. So he clung to Dad, trusted him to get him through the worst of it. And Jed did. Every time Ryan felt like the world was going to open up and swallow him, Jed's voice brought him back, anchored him. It makes me want to be that for someone else. Or be that for Ryan too. I mean, you're gonna have to now that Jed's in jail. Remind somebody that their feet are still on solid ground, even when their brain is screaming at them that their opposite is true. It makes me feel like maybe I could be. I mean, it also makes me want to never drink again, but mostly that first thing. Yeah, I already read this. Crack, rent check, gummies. He knew, obviously, staring at the ceiling, remembering Juvie, remembering Mom, me, us, Dad. I don't think he even knew what he would do if he ever found Dad. The crusade justified itself, offered him a sense of purpose, something to distract him from the gnawing, hollow notion that he didn't know how to exist in the world the way other people did. I think this was the first time he had a real conversation with Charlotte. I think he remembered it for a long time afterward. She looked at him with genuine concern in her eyes, tried to identify what was broken and find a way to fix it. And all at once it struck him that maybe he was fixable, that maybe someday he could be like her, like Jed. Like all the people that didn't age very well. Like all the people in this town who rely on each other and lift each other up, he wanted that, and he felt embarrassed for wanting it. I just want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Like, of course you can have that, dummy. You're Gabe effing Chen. This town has been waiting for you. It needs you. But then I remember it doesn't matter who needs him. He's gone. I didn't get that either. All right. Lots of memories that I didn't get. I'm sorry, boy. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, boys and girls, and everyone in between. If I lie down. If I lay here. If I just lay here. Would you lie with me and just forget the world?
I've been playing a lot the last 2 days. Trying to think things through. But I realize it's actually the opposite. When I'm playing is the only time I get to not think. Not think about Jed. Or Gabe, or Dad, and what could have been if he'd never come to this town. Most of all, what I don't think about is me, because I've never been good at that. And suddenly, it's the only question that's left. So, I just keep playing.
All of these moments, like the writing during these quiet moments where you're just sitting down or relaxing on a bed, they're so profound. The writing is in this game is, for moments like these especially, that is where they excel. All right. Let's get to it. Let us get to it. I think I've done everything I can do. I think. Yeah. I think I got it. So let's head upstairs. Hopefully, if this is the final scene, it'll be with you-know-who, but we'll see. Ryan.
Ryan, I'm so sorry.
Can I hug him, please? Yay, a hug. Oh,
I know.
I love you, Ryan. You're so awesome. I bet he gives great hugs.
So, what's next for Alex Chen?
Well, I don't know. What's next for you, Ryan?
I guess
That'll help answer the
I'm
question.
asking because I'm in. I mean, whether it's here or anywhere else. If you want me, I'm there.
You would leave Haven? No, I'm not going to say that. I wouldn't want him to leave Haven. Don't even put that in his head. Don't inception that in his head at all. Thank you.
That's really sweet, Ryan. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
I'm not used to getting to decide what I want. I guess I'd better think about it.
I don't need to think about it. We don't have to think about it, Alex.
I guess so. You know where to find me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't have to leave. Don't. All right, fine. I guess we're going to have the last scene without him. It's okay. That hug was sufficient. But I'm glad that they allowed it to leave it open-ended so that you can decide for yourself as a viewer or a player. You can decide for yourself whether they actually do get together at the end or not. We all know what my headcanon is.
All right. Just tell me.
What?
My future. What to do? The
Well, we
night
already
of the
went over
Spring
it,
Fest, Ryan made a strong case for why I should stay in Haven. The idea of making this place my home. It seemed nice.
It's a pretty awesome place. You get to LARP.
Of course, that was before all the shit went down.
Yeah, well, you know.
Come
You
on.
get to LARP. You
You're
get to
the
LARP.
know-it-all. So tell me.
Actually, I do know what you should do. You should stay in Haven.
Thank you. I think you should too. You're right.
Of course. You're right. I've never had a home before. Friends,
A boyfriend.
a job, a
A
place
boyfriend.
to live.
A boyfriend. Husband.
Why would
A
I give that
husband.
up now?
A spouse. You know. A lover. All the above.
Then again, maybe leaving would be better.
Nah. Crazy talk.
What?
Crazy talk.
You're young, you suddenly have a little money, friends. And don't you think it's time to give this music thing a real shot? No, you should definitely leave.
No, it's
Fuck
okay.
off.
No, it's okay.
Stop it, Gabe. I don't need the mysterious spirit bullshit right now. I just need my big brother.
I'm sorry.
I know.
But here's something. It's 3 hours from now. A bus pulls away. You're not on it.
Oh, there's Ryan. Oh, hold hands.
Ryan approves.
Yeah.
Life goes on. You go back to work. You settle into a routine.
Aww. I thought I'm working at the record shop, but okay, this is fine. That's fine. Ryan's there. Somebody has to take over for Jed.
And one day, with almost no warning,
Oh no.
Steph up and bolts town.
Why?
It hurts.
Why would she leave? Is it because I took her job at the record shop eventually? Aw, I'm bummed about that. Why would she leave? It makes sense for Ryan to leave if I went
But-
for Steph.
She does offer you a going away present. Her job. You take it.
I wouldn't have taken it if it meant that Steph would leave. Oh man. That's alright. It's
All
okay.
those years of being a music snob finally pay off.
It's okay. Steph, you can come visit. Come visit often. Please.
Little
I
by
need
little, time does its thing.
we need an auntie for for Alex and Ryan's kids. Gabe and Ryan's kids. There we go. Oh.
The
Ethan
apartment
and
starts to
Charlotte.
feel less like a museum, and more like a home.
Oh, we're playing video games that. Yeah, this is awesome. Oh, this is beautiful.
Thoughts of Jed, of Typhon, and even of me begin to fade into the background.
Wow. Committee run. Mac and Riley are still together? Or is that not Mac? I can't tell. Is Riley with another boy now? Charlotte's with another dude. Oh, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. Oh, there's Eleanor. But Riley never found out about her condition. Oh, there's my man. Hey there, handsome. Aww. Oh, I love that. That warms my heart. That really does warm my heart.
The rooftop is your stage. You perform every week to a small but adoring group of fans. Maybe
Oh,
while you play, you wonder what could have been. Performing for more people in more cities, sharing your music with the world.
it's all right. They wink.
Or maybe you
So
never
cute.
think about that much at all.
Yeah, I have something to say about that from my own experience.
You don't know exactly when it happens. But one day you look around and find that you have transformed this place just as much as it has transformed you.
This is the Spring Festival. Oh. But why is Steph not back to reprise her role on the stage with me? She needs to come back.
And the most extraordinary thing of all is just how normal it feels.
Oh. This is beautiful. This is a super satisfying ending. This is how
You don't
endings
question it,
should be.
you don't doubt it, or wonder what might have been. It's your
Yeah.
life. The life you fought so hard to have. And for the first time in a long time, you just live.
Yeah. Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
You really think I'll transform Haven?
Of course, you already have. With your gift, your music, just by being you.
Yeah, all of the above.
But
All of
Alex,
the above.
that doesn't mean you have to stay.
No, I'm staying.
You have the potential to do that anywhere you go.
Oh, I know. I'm staying. Go where?
Where am I supposed to go? I don't have any other home.
That is true. But you didn't have any home before coming here. And look what happened.
Yeah, I'm staying.
The truth is, there's no telling what that version of your future might be. The only promise is the adventure.
That's what Thanor says.
So? What do you think?
I'm staying. There's no choice here. I'm staying. Stay in Haven, seek adventure. Stay in Haven. What do you see? Here's the thing I don't like about how this is worded. Like, staying in Haven is also an adventure. You don't have to have an adventure by leaving Haven. I mean, we had a LARP, for goodness sakes. We had an actual adventure, an epic adventure in LARPing. And also we had an epic adventure taking down Typhon. So I don't like how this is. Seek adventure? There's adventure in Haven with your cute boy, with your cute hottie boyfriend, slash husband, slash soulmate. Stay in Haven. Not even, that's not a choice for me.
I know what I want.
Not even a choice. Easiest choice in the entire game. Nice. Where's our boo? It's a final scene. Where's our boo? He's right behind us. No? We're walking towards him? No? That's fine. We saw the glimpse into our future. We know what's gonna happen. Nice. So this, by far, was my absolute favorite Life is Strange game to date. And I really did enjoy Tell Me Why. Well, Tell Me Why is not Life is Strange, but it's from the same it's from the same Square Enix company. And I did also enjoy Life is Strange 2, but this one, as I said, just hit all of the check marks for me. The story was awesome. The characters, really the characters. I think that, as I said in an earlier video, the characters is what I believe propelled this game above and beyond, because there were a good number of characters that I just didn't particularly get attached to in Life is Strange 1, and I think that was the biggest issues I was having, is I just genuinely grew attached, and I cared about these people, about this town, this village, and related to them executing the characters here far better than in the other games, because I think it's exhausting. My biggest issue with Life is Strange 1 is that I didn't really look forward to playing the next chapter, other than to just find out what happened in the main storyline, because it was more about, I cared about what was going to happen next in the plot besides what was going to happen next with the characters. It's different, and to me, this is what really motivated me to play the game, was I just wanted to find out what happened to the characters, not so much what happened to the plot. And in relation to them executing the characters well, they definitely executed the romance as well. Now, obviously, I haven't experienced the romance with Steph, but Steph and Ryan were very, very likable. They were very easy characters to just fall in love with, no matter what gender I think you happen to be attracted to. And I know that the Life is Strange series is notorious for not executing the male romance interests specifically very well. I think and not that they execute the female ones perfectly either, but I feel like compared to the male ones, the females I felt clearly had an advantage. I think they were trying really hard to give Chloe way more of an advantage in Life is Strange 1 versus Warren. And I didn't play Before the Storm or whatever that other prequel to Life is Strange 1 was, but I heard that there was a character named Elliot in that game, which you could kind of sort of romance, but I heard that he wasn't really that great compared to Amber, whoever it is you're supposed to possibly romance in that game. Same thing with Life is Strange 2. It was Finn versus, I don't remember what the girl's name was, but I definitely found myself really liking the girl way more than Finn in general. And it felt like if I was going to romance one of the two, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to want to romance the girl, because I just felt like they made her more desirable, in my opinion, in terms of romancing than they did with Finn. And I think that they finally got it right with this game. They actually gave us two characters that were great. I love Steph. I love Ryan. I'm a sucker for those nice guys. He's not perfect, and he does have baggage, but it's not so much. He still maintains this charm, this sweetness, this dorkiness, this humor, and it doesn't hurt that he looks ridiculously sexy, compared to the other male romanceable characters in the other games. I personally felt Ryan is by far the most physically attractive of all of them, so that also helps too. But the voice acting was great, the facial animations, it was great. Like, he was just adorable and so cute and so lovable. Yes, 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 yes. Please, Life is Strange games and writers and everyone who creates any game really that has romanceable characters, please continue to make both the male and the female this easy to love. This easy to love. And I get it. Everyone has different tastes. I get that Ryan is not a type for everyone, just like Steph is not the type for everyone. But after playing, the other Life is Strange games, this is a huge breath of fresh air, and I really felt like they nailed that. I also really love the power, the ability. The power, the ability was not it was not very it wasn't a typical superhero power. Telekinesis, like Daniel had, is relatively mainstream, relatively common. Being able to like manipulate time, that's probably not as common as telekinesis, but it's still a concept that is a large part of a lot of comic books and fantasy lore, like manipulating time. Empathy is just one of those special abilities or special powers that is not as it's not as mainstream. It doesn't show up that often. There are definitely characters who have empath abilities, but I really like how they used it in this particular game. And I really felt like I was helping people with this power. Whereas in Life is Strange 2, Daniel's powers was mostly used, for the most part, it was mostly used for survival. It was mostly used to kind of help themselves, to get them out of sticky and tough situations, which is fine. It's just, I really way much more appreciate if somebody has gifts that they have the ability to help others. And that's just my kind of personality. The powers that were in Life is Strange 1 with Maxine, yes, she did use those powers to help others sometimes, but I feel like Alex, by comparison, definitely used her powers, not to help herself, but to help other people far more often. And that's another reason why I really like her character more and her abilities a lot more. And just the world building, I just being able to meet all of the people in your neighborhood. These are the people in your neighborhood in Haven Springs was just really engaging. It just really drew me in. I felt like I was a part of this family that had built, for once you were in a really nice village for the most part. I mean, obviously Jed and everyone else in that village had their specific issues, but they were still, for the most part, really genuinely good people and not fake, because I think there's a lot of these, it gets tropey a little bit where you end up being dropped into this Pleasantville, kind of neighborhood where everybody knows each other and everybody's friendly and they have this, community social media board and everything, only to find out that they are all holding this deep, dark secret. And most of the people in this village, are actually evil people, or they've got something super shady to hide. And that's not really true with here. They do have secrets, but it's not necessarily like malicious in nature, as it tends to be in a lot of this tropey, like quiet town, friendly town kind of stories. And I really like that. I like that these people were genuine and that you really wanted to help them with their problems and their issues. The relationship within Alex and Gabe, love it, absolutely. As someone who never had a younger sibling, it was really cool to be able to experience that. As someone who never had an older sibling. It's really cool to experience that through this game. And then, I can't even, say enough. I've raved about it so many times, but definitely by far the most fun chapter overall was the LARP chapter, hands down. I feel like that's going to be the favorite chapter for the vast majority of people who play this game, because most people who play this game, I think, are huge RPG fans, role-playing fans, and therefore, even if they never played a tabletop game or a Dungeons and Dragons game or a LARP game, I feel like they would really appreciate that LARP scene, especially because it kind of turns into a Final Fantasy game at some point with the turn-based attacks and combat, the turn-based combat, which again, your audience, they know their audience. This is Square Enix. This is Square Enix, who makes Final Fantasy. It just was perfect. They really hit the nail on that one. They really just it was pretty much perfectly executed. And the reveal and the twist was really good. I think I was being a little smug. I admit I was being a little smug when I was able to call on Jed and his BS. But, despite that, it was a very good twist that could have gotten me if I wasn't looking out for the signs ahead of time. And maybe I shouldn't have been looking out for the signs ahead of time, but I'd noticed them. And the final encounter, the final climactic boss fights, it wasn't really at the boss fight, but at the very end, I just love that it was a power of empathy. It wasn't through sheer force or violence that solved the problem. It was empathy that helped solve the problem. And that's not going to be satisfying for everyone, but definitely was super satisfying with me. And I thought the whole thing was just really beautiful. And I feel like the choices, did they matter in this game? Yeah, I think they did. But I don't think that they mattered super direly. I don't think that your choices in general were life and death choices. It was more who's going to be the boss fight at the end of the LARPing. And I think really the main choices, it felt like, I could be wrong, but it felt like the main things that affected the storyline or the ending even was less about the choices that you made, but whether or not you actually stopped and helped these citizens, helped them with their problems. Because there were many optional scenes that you could have had, like Riley. I definitely wish I was able to help Riley, but it looked like Riley still ended up going to college, I think, and still ended up being successful. So even though I didn't quite meet her at the bus stop, it seemed like she was still okay. And Eleanor was still okay. I'd like to think in my headcanon that eventually Riley finds out about her dementia, and then they're hopefully able to help her with it. So yeah, I love this game so much. Let me know in the comments how you ranked the other Life is Strange games, and if you want to throw in Tell Me Why as well, you're welcome to as well. And if you want to throw in Before the Storm or whatever that DLC was, feel free to throw that in. But this easily, not even a contest, is at the top for me. I absolutely adore Life is Strange True Colors, and I hope this is just a taste of things to come whenever they make the next Life is Strange game, because I don't know if they're going to call Life is Strange 4 because they didn't call this Life is Strange 3. I hope that they continue on this trajectory, and I hope that they continue creating games that were just this successful. I hope the romances, they continue to be just as successful as well. It was really sweet. The romances were very well executed. And the ending was really satisfying. I really, really enjoyed how my ending worked out. Yeah. So I think that's all I've got to say. So let's go ahead and see our stats. So let's take a look at our stats. Alex stayed in Haven Springs, almost 50-50. I mean, majority did stay as opposed to hitting the road to player music, which also makes legitimate sense too. But having it slightly above makes a lot of sense. Alex forgave Jed for his actions, 72%. I'm not surprised that it's that high, because I feel like given those two choices, forgiving him is the quote-unquote good choice to do. But it would be interesting to see how things would have played out if Alex denounced Jed for his actions. Alex claims she learned the meaning of home, 44%. Alex claims she learned not to fear her emotions. Alex claims she didn't learn anything from Haven. Everyone in the council supported... Whoa! I got 12%? I was in the 12%. Everyone on the council supported Alex. Wow! Really? I guess my choices actually were perfect then. You remember when I was like at the very beginning, like, oh man, like all of these terrible choices that I'm making in chapter 1, I am screwing over Alex big time. But no, I was in the minority. Only 12% of us, only 20% of us had everyone on the council support Alex. I'm actually surprised by that. I didn't think it would be that hard to have everyone support Alex. I'm wondering if Riley finding out about Eleanor's dementia, I'm wondering if that would have affected whether or not Eleanor supported Alex. I'm curious about that. Some of the council stood with Alex, 83%. None of the council members backed Alex. Oh man. Okay. Oh, so none of my friends had everyone in the council support Alex. Interesting. Wow. Well, I feel really good about that on my first try. Wow, awesome. Alex wanted to play music in the future. Alex wanted to belong somewhere in the future. Alex wanted to help more people in the future. I did get the majority for that, 45%. Alex took a moment to reflect in the apartment, 44%. Alex didn't sit on the bed. Alex forgave Ryan for not believing her. Oh yeah, it's possible that Ryan doesn't believe her. I think the 16% is 16% because most people hopefully had Ryan believe them. Alex wasn't ready to forgive Ryan, 4%. Alex didn't see Ryan after the vote, probably because he didn't romance Ryan. Ryan stood by Alex during the vote. Cool. Charlotte sided with Alex during the vote, 37%. Wow. Really? I was in the minority there. 37, a third of the people had Charlotte side with Alex, and 2/3 did not. I'm wondering what are the factors for that. Eleanor sided with Alex during the vote. Eleanor offered to get Alex help. Oh, interesting. Again in the minority. Pike sided with Alex during the vote. Nice. So majority of people had Pike. Pike told Alex to give it up. Ducky sided with Alex during the vote. Ducky remained loyal to Jed. That's right. Because I remember when we were talking about each of the different council members, they said that Ducky tended to vote the way Jed would vote. But Ducky was able to, think on his own. Ryan believed Alex during the vote. Only 30%? Only 30%? I'm wondering if that has anything to do with whether or not you romanced Ryan, which I hope it doesn't. I hope the fact that you wanted to remain BFFs and friends with Ryan versus, being in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Ryan, I'm hoping that had nothing to do with whether or not he believed Alex. I'm just really surprised that only 30% had Alex. Yeah, well, 100% of my friends got Ryan to believe Alex. Got Ryan to believe Alex during the vote, so that's good. All of my friends seem to have Eleanor offer to get Alex help. Okay, all right. Ryan and Alex started dating in Haven Springs. Only 20%. I mean, that makes sense. A lot of people, I think, most part, go for Steph. Ryan leaves Haven to be with Alex. Okay, cool. I like that. I like that if you chose to leave Haven, Alex can still go. Ryan can still go with you. That's awesome. I'm glad. I'm super happy that the game did that, because it would really stink if Ryan decided, oh, you're not going to stay in Haven Springs, we'll forget you. I think it's very believable if Ryan really cares about Alex enough, and especially with his dad with his dad arrested, I mean, that place, Haven probably has a lot of really bad memories for Ryan, so he maybe a new fresh start, a new beginning for him, makes a lot of sense as to why he would leave Haven. Ryan and Alex don't get together, 72%, because everybody else is going with Steph. Steph stays in Haven to be with Alex, 36%. Steph and Alex leave Haven together, 35%. Steph and Alex don't get together, 29%. Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. Sweet. Well, again, thank you everyone so much for watching my Let's Play of Life is Strange True Colors. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. Definitely looking forward to the next Life is Strange, whenever that comes in 2 years, 3 years, who knows. So, yeah, that's all, folks. Thank you one last time. Until next time, love yourselves and love Ryan and Steph. Bye.